Respected doctors, my colleagues, medical students, paramedical person, welcome to ECG Basic Part 5, the final part of ECG Basics. আপনাদের সবাইকে ECG Basic Part 5 এ স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। In this topic আমরা এই পার্ট 5 এ টি ওয়েভ সম্বন্ধে আলোচনা করব। টি ওয়েভ সম্বন্ধে আলোচনা করব প্রথম পার্টে। দ্বিতীয় পার্টে আমরা চর্চা করব, আলোচনা করব ইসিজি চেঞ্জেস ইন hyperkalemia and hypokalemia. In the first section, we'll discuss regarding the T-wave. In the second section of today's our final part, or basic part 5, we'll discuss about the ECG changes in electrolyte imbalance like hyperkalemia or hypokalemia. Let us start with the normal T-wave. The normal T-wave height should be less than 50% of the preceding R wave. It should be less than 50% of preceding R wave. This R waves less than 50% of the preceding R waves height, this is normal. Sometimes if the height of the T wave increases, this is called height of the, there may be alteration in the height of the T wave. Height may be increased, that is increase. We say tall T wave. Height may be decreases, small T wave. Small T or T wave may be inverted. There are separate causes, clinical conditions that give rise to the tall T wave or a small T wave or inverted T wave. Tall T wave can occur in the figure may look like P, Q, R, S. This is T, this is QRS. Tall. The face of the tall T wave may be like this. Tall T wave can occur in hyperacute myocardial infarction. Hyperacute myocardial infarctions, which I have mentioned in the ECG basic part 4 previously, that it is hyperacute myocardial infarction. This ECG manifestation can occur within minutes of myocardial infarction, and this ECG can occur sometimes in hyperkalemia. That is increased potassium level in the serum. Small T wave can also occur. Small T wave is like this: P, QRS, T. This is very small T wave. Small T wave can occur in hypokalemia. That is decreased potassium level less than 3.5 milliequivalent per liter. It can occur in the pericardial effusion. Can occur in the pericardial effusion, and sometimes small T wave may be ECG manifestation of hypothyroidism. So sometimes ECG small T wave may be the manifestation of hypothyroidism, and sometimes T wave may be inverted. Like this, T wave may be inverted. Tall T wave inversion, this may normally occur in AVR, B1, B2, B3. Normally it can occur in ABR and B1 in all population. In B2 and B3 in pediatric population or females up to the age of the 40, this T inversion is normal in B2 and B3. And this can occur in myocardial ischemia, myocardial infarction also, myocardial infarction. It can occur in ABR and B1, normally in all population. And in case of the pediatric population up to the age 14, both in the male and females, T inversion can occur. In females up to the age 40, T inversion can occur in BT and B3. As well as T inversion may be the feature of either the myocardial infarction, myocardial ischemia, infarction, or it can occur with ventricular hypertrophy with strain pattern. Ventricular hypertrophy with strain pattern. This strain pattern may occur in B1 and B2 in case of right ventricular hypertrophy, and strain pattern may occur in the B5 and B6 in case of left ventricular hypertrophy. So this is all about the T wave. Now we'll talk about the ECG changes in hypokalemia and hyperkalemia. What is the normal potassium level? Normal potassium level is 3.5 to 5.3 milli equivalent per liter. Also we say millimole per liter. If it is less than 3.5, this is hypokalemia. If it is more than 5.3, this is more than 5.3 is hyperkalemia. Hypokalemia and hyperkalemia. In hypokalemia, the ECG changes is T wave may disappear. T wave may disappear and U wave appear. U wave appears. Then there may be prolonged QT. Prolonged QT and sagging of ST segment. ST. So ECG features in hypokalemia, T wave may disappear, U wave appears, prolonged QT is there, sagging of ST. T wave disappears like this. P, QRS, it may be small or it may disappear. And U wave will appear. Normally U wave may not be visualized. This is P, QRS, and then there is no T, and U wave. This is U wave. This is U wave. And QT will be prolonged. This is prolonged QT. Prolonged QT. And sagging of ST segment. This is P, QRS. This is ST segment is sagging. So these are the ECG features of hypokalemia. Now we'll talk about the ECG features of hyperkalemia. Tall T wave, tall T. There may be tall T wave, prolonged PR, prolonged PR, P wave may disappear, and sine wave may occur. Sine wave. See here, in hyperkalemia, tall T wave, prolonged PR interval, P wave disappears, sine P wave. Like a tall T wave, this is T, QRS, this is T, tall T. Prolonged PR interval, this is prolonged PR interval. There may be no P wave may disappear. And sine wave appears like this. These are the sine waves. So, this is a manifestation of hyperkalemia is tall T wave, prolonged PR interval, P wave disappears and sine wave occurs. These are according to the level of the potassium level. As the level of the potassium increases, successive changes occurs serially. Now we will be talking about, at the last part of the ECG basic part 5, we will be talking about the ventricular ectopic and ventricular rhythm. Ventricular ectopic, how can we identify ventricular ectopic is, there will be in ventricular ectopic there is no P wave. No P wave. There is no P wave. Another is white QRS complex. QRS complex is white and T wave is opposite. T wave is opposite to the direction of the QRS complex. If QRS complex is positive, T wave will be inverted. If QRS complex is negative, T wave will be upright. Here in this ECG, as the QRS complex is upright, T wave is inverted. T wave is opposite to the QRS. So, this is ventricular ectopic. No P wave, white QRS complex, T wave appears opposite to the direction of the QRS complex. Depending upon this, ventricular ectopic can be classified as bigeminic, trigeminic, or quadrigeminic. If every second QRS complex is the ventricular, this is normal rhythm, this is ventricular ectopic, also called ventricular premature contraction, PVCs or PPCs. If every QRS complex is the ventricular ectopic, that is every second is the ectopic, then that is called bigeminic. If every third QRS complex is the ventricular ectopic, it is called trigeminic. If every fourth QRS complex is the ventricular ectopic, that condition is called quadrigeminic. And there is another classification of ventricular premature contraction. Another classification is couplet, triplet, quadruplet, and short run of PT, short run of ventricular tachycardia. If two ventricular ectopics occurs successively without normal QRS complex in between. Two successive PVCs is couplet. If there are three successive PVCs, they are called triplet. If there are four successive PVCs, they are called quadruplet. And if there are five successive PVCs, this is called short run of ventricular tachycardia. Now let's come to the ventricular tachycardia. And ventricular fibrillation. Ventricular tachycardia, VT, and ventricular fibrillation, VR. In ventricular tachycardia, there is wide QRS complex. Wide QRS complex. PUF, there is atrioventricular dissociation. There may be capture beats. There may be fusion beats. Here, as the QRS complex is originated from the ventricular muscle, the QRS complex is wide. There is atrioventricular dissociation. There may be capture beats. There may be fusion beats. And this is one of the cardiac arrest or one of the medical emergency. And another is ventricular fibrillation. In ventricular fibrillation, if you ask the 1 year or 2 year child to draw the circle, 1 year child will tell what they will do. There is no definitive pattern. The pattern may be like no definitive pattern. No definitive pattern. So ventricular fibrillation is one of the cardiac arrest and one of the medical emergency. Then what are the other cardiac arrest? One is, I have told, ventricular tachycardia without pulse. Another is ventricular fibrillations. Another is electromechanical dissociation, also called pulseless electrical activity. Another is asystole. These are called the cardiac arrest. Among these cardiac arrest, the first two is ventricular tachycardia and ventricular fibrillation. The first treatment of choice is DC, the electrical cardioversion, that is DC shock. So these are also called shockable. Shockable, where the first treatment is DC shock followed by CPR. And here in these two conditions, electromechanical dissociation or pulses electrical activity and asystole, in these two varieties of the cardiac arrest, these are called the non-shockable. We should not give DC shock here. We should start the CPR first. CPR first. Now let's come to the last topic, that is Torsades de Pointes. Torsades de Pointes, there is alteration of the electrical activity of the axis of the QRS complex. These are also the ventricular rhythms. This ventricular QRS axis, electrical axis of the QRS is complex, and as the name implies, it looks just like a twisting. And if Torsades de Pointes may progress to ventricular tachycardia and ventricular fibrillation and may lead to the sudden cardiac arrest. So this is all about the ECG cardiac basic part 5. And my dear audience, I have, along with this basic, I have already discussed about the arrhythmias, that is atrial flutter, atrial fibrillation. Similarly, I have talked about the first degree heart block, second degree heart block. This is again of two types, third degree heart block or complete heart block. In the ventricular arrhythmias, I have also talked about the ventricular tachycardia, ventricular fibrillation. But to the basic, I am again ending this session with one information that is at the last. That should be known. Actually, that should be known at first. But assuming that all of you know this, I did not told at the first, that is calculation of the heart rate. Actually, I assume all of you know this. How to calculate the heart rate? Heart rate can be calculated by the formula, that is 1500 divided by number of small square between the two R waves, that is RR interval. Or also it can be calculated as 300 divided by number of big square between the two R waves. Number of big square between two R waves. If this is for calculation of the heart rate, 1500 divided by number of small square between the R waves, or 300 divided by number of big square between the R waves. This is applicable if heart is regular. If heart rate is irregular, we count the number of the QRS complex in 6 seconds. Number of QRS complex in 6 seconds. That is 30 big square. And then multiply by 10. Example, if number of QRS complex in 6 seconds or 30 big square is 7, and then we multiply by 10, heart rate will be 70. This will be applicable if heart rate is irregular. So we have, and if normal heart rate is 60 to 100, if less than 60, that is called bradycardia. If heart rate is more than 100, that condition is tachycardia. Assuming that all of you know the causes of tachycardia and bradycardia, so I want to end all the ECG basic part for session, and I want to inform you that from tomorrow, every day we will be in this group. Every day one ECG will be displayed by the admin cardiologist at 6 to 7 a.m. and you can give your comment, no matter whether it can be wrong or it can be right. You can give your comment throughout the day whenever you are free, and at the 10 p.m. admin cardiologist will give the correct answer and the explanation, and you can give the answer whether you are wrong or right. You can give the answer, you can assume the answer, you can guess the answer, and final conclusion will be given by the admin cardiologist every day after at 10 p.m. You can give the opinion at the throughout the day, anytime when you are free. And but you may also send your comment or your explanation of the ECG, and there may be some questions, there may be some interpretations with this basic knowledge, and if you want to, you may be wrong, you don't want to show your wrong answer to the other person publicly, you can send their explanation to the admin cardiologist through his in his messenger, so that you can see that will be not seen by your comment will be not seen by the public. You can do that, or you may be publicly give the opinion also. So, and at the last of the everyday that ECG, everyday one ECG will be displayed. Around 75 ECG will be displayed in 75 days, and after the 75th day, on the 76th day, that is 21st of the February, 2 lucky draw will be done from the proper answer. Lucky draw will be given from the chosen from the participants who answer correctly at least 20 ECG out of 75 ECGs, and prizes will be given. Prizes are also interesting. Those prizes that is already given in our subdivision of B division, that is ECG reader. Those prizes are very interesting. I hope more participant will be chosen in lucky draw, so that will be convinced whom to choose even in the lucky draw. Okay, whom to choose. There may be lots of the participants. We hope so all of you will answer correctly with this basic knowledge. Thank you all.